Feral hogs are not the strongest animals in the wild, but they are among the most dangerous when they move into human landscapes. They don't destroy with a single strike, they destroy through repetition. And sometimes, the most important lesson isn't about eliminating a problem, but about learning how to manage it properly. In the first test, the trap was set with full confidence. The sounder moved in smoothly. Everything looked right. For a moment, the plan seemed solid. Then, the problem appeared. The gate didn't drop evenly. The response was slower than expected. Just a small delay, and the entire system lost its effect. The hogs slipped out with little resistance. This failure wasn't because the hogs were too smart. It was because the human mechanism wasn't precise enough. In wildlife management, a minor error is all it takes to collapse an entire control strategy. After the initial setback, a familiar solution was deployed. Figure 6 Hop Trap, a design that had worked well in other locations. But this time, the outcome was different. The hogs approached more slowly. They moved cautiously, scanning their surroundings and reacting clearly to small irregularities. There was no blind rush. Instinct had been replaced by evaluation. When behavior changes, old solutions lose their edge very quickly. At this point, the strategy shifted. Instead of trying to capture the entire sounder, the focus moved to redesigning and testing drop traps for individual hogs. The goal was no longer numbers, it was behavioral precision. The trap was lower, the response was faster, and most importantly, the sense of pressure during entry was minimized. This is a principle widely used in modern wildlife management. Small, precise interventions instead of large, high-risk actions. At this stage, hogs proved they weren't easily fooled. The issue was no longer hog behavior, it was how the trap communicated with them. The decisive shift came with the full adoption of one-way doors. Hogs could enter naturally, without feeling blocked or forced, but when they turned back, the door's mechanics made exit increasingly difficult. This system works with natural behavior rather than against it, reducing stress and unnecessary risk.
Yeah. You can't be doing all that. Shame on you.
This time, the problem wasn't a mechanical failure, it was a false signal. Noise, vibration, and irregular movement sent the wrong message. This place isn't safe. The fix focused on hinge alignment, smoother motion, and sound reduction. Once corrected, the door stopped drawing attention. It became a natural part of the path. The final variable to refine was timing. Choosing the right moment became critical. With the introduction of remotely activated smart gate systems, human presence was no longer required on site. Here, technology wasn't used to apply force, but to reduce human visibility, lower stress, and minimize risk on both sides. This time, the trap functioned exactly as it was designed to. After repeated failures, adjustments, and trials, success didn't come from luck. It came from patience and a willingness to learn. When intelligence is placed above instinct, humans don't just protect their crops. They build a sustainable control method, capable of long-term use in modern wildlife management.
Yeah, got here. Yeah.
See something going on with it. Battery.
that last before I got it. Welcome.
Let's see what happens. Yep. 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 Get it. Here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes.
There they are.
There you go.
There they are.
Rising tension when wild boars force urgent action. On an ordinary afternoon in a quiet suburban neighborhood in the United States, the calm was suddenly shattered. Screams rang out from a small hair salon. Customers panicked and ran for their lives. Mirrors smashed, chairs flipped. And right there, in the middle of the room, stood a fully grown wild boar, weighing hundreds of pounds, terrified, out of control. This was not a movie scene. This was one of many real-life incidents recorded as wildlife, especially wild hogs, pushed deeper into human living spaces. Wild boars are nothing like domestic pigs. A full-grown boar can weigh anywhere from 200 to over 300 pounds. They're fast, highly reactive, and armed with razor-sharp tusks capable of inflicting serious injuries. When panicked or cornered, they can become extremely dangerous. Beyond the direct threat to human safety, wild hogs destroy crops, cause traffic accidents, and carry diseases that can spread to livestock and pets. Even more alarming is their reproduction rate. In a very short time, just a few individuals can explode into a full-blown sounder if left unmanaged. In the past, trapping or removing hogs one at a time was considered a solution. But with today's population size and breeding speed, those methods are proving increasingly ineffective. Wildlife management experts warn that removing only a few hogs often makes the remaining sounder more alert, while the overall population continues to grow. That's why planned, sounder-based management strategies are now being adopted. In many regions, modern trapping systems combined with remote camera monitoring are showing clear results. These systems allow operators to monitor hog activity in real time. Trigger traps only when the entire sounder is inside. Reduce risk to people. Minimize chaos and unnecessary stress. In Texas, one of the hardest hit states, entire sounders have been captured in a single operation, breaking the reproductive cycle before it can restart. Many landowners and wildlife specialists agree. When done correctly, wild hog control does not require reckless or dangerous measures. Boarbuster is one of the systems used across the US as a sounder management solution. The system is built on key principles: open traps that don't alarm hogs at first, remote activation once the full group enters, continuous camera monitoring, maximum safety for surrounding people. This point matters most. Wild hog control is not about sport hunting or violence. It's about protecting people, property, and ecological balance. No one wants animals to suffer, but when a species grows beyond control and becomes a direct threat to communities, doing nothing can lead to far greater consequences. This is no longer just a problem for remote ranches. It's happening in neighborhoods, backyard fences, and places where children play. Without proper management strategies, wild hog numbers in the US will continue to rise, bringing greater risks to both people and the environment. Yet, there is hope. When communities understand the issue, when local authorities and residents work together, and when technology is used responsibly, real progress can be made. After trapping, transport is considered the most critical phase of wild hog management. Every step is carried out carefully and in an orderly manner, with stress and injury risks kept to an absolute minimum. Each hog is guided into reinforced transport crates designed for maximum safety. Every movement is planned, deliberate, and calm, avoiding panic and injury. This is not simply about moving wild hogs. It's a lesson in how humans can manage and coexist responsibly with wildlife. From sudden suburban encounters to responsible management efforts in states like Texas, one message becomes clear: wild hog management is no longer optional. It is essential for community safety. The actions we take today will determine how safe our environment is tomorrow. When the city falls asleep, another world begins to move. Under the dim glow of streetlights, herds of wild boars emerge. They quietly cross the streets, pushing deeper into residential areas. They tear up gardens, search for food, and roam freely through places once considered safe human spaces. Videos recorded by residents reveal a troubling shift. Wild boars no longer stop at the forest edge. They now appear on city streets, inside neighborhoods, even right in front of people's homes. When the boundary between urban life and wildlife becomes blurred, the issue is no longer just property damage. It becomes a matter of human safety. When wild animals lose their fear of humans, risk begins to grow exponentially. This is not just a story about wild boars. These images raise a much larger question. How are we managing the shared space between humans and nature? And how can we protect our way of life while still preserving the balance of the natural world? Follow us as we continue this challenging journey. From before dawn, Martin, one of the most respected wild boar hunters in the region, was already at the trap site he had set days earlier. More than just a skilled marksman, Martin is known in the local community as a pioneer in using smart trapping systems to control wildlife safely and responsibly. Today's mission posed a serious challenge. A highly alert sounder of wild boar, and the team's responsibility was not to injure them, but to guide them back toward the forest without harm. The core strategy was pre-baiting, allowing the boar to become familiar with the trap site before any activation. The team used fermented corn and sweet bait, since wild boar find almost impossible to resist. Over several days, the entire sounder grew accustomed to the location and the food source, significantly increasing trap effectiveness while minimizing stress and panic. When the trap is finally triggered, the likelihood of capturing the entire group at once, rather than scattering individuals, makes the operation safer, faster, and far more efficient. Effective control does not come from haste, but from staying one step ahead. Martin uses Boar Buster, a modern trapping system designed specifically for wild boar and now widely deployed across the United States. Unlike traditional methods, Boar Buster allows an entire sounder to be controlled with a single activation, minimizing panic and greatly reducing the risk of boars scattering into nearby residential areas. For Martin, operating a trap is never just a technical procedure. Each activation is a responsible decision, tied directly to maintaining ecological order and protecting the everyday safety of the community. Before triggering the system, Martin carefully checks every factor: the trap's placement, the direction from which the boar approach, and the most appropriate moment to activate. Thanks to the pre-baiting process, allowing the boar to become familiar with the trap site over several days, when the entire sounder arrives, the system can be triggered with precision, keeping stress and unnecessary risk to an absolute minimum. Once the boar are securely contained, the team relocates them to a legally designated management area, ensuring the operation remains safe, controlled, and does not disrupt nearby residents. This is where technology, field experience, and patience converge. No rushed reactions, no loss of control, only proactive intervention to prevent damage, protect the community, and preserve balance within the local ecosystem.
Let's go, hip. Let's go, hip, hip. Get in there, hip, hip. Hip, 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 hip. Yeah, we gotta screw that to the bottom.
The operation didn't just bring wild boar under control, it restored peace of mind to families and the wider community. In a world where wildlife is increasingly encroaching on residential areas, smart, humane, and properly licensed solutions are the path towards sustainable management. Wildlife management is not a battle between humans and nature. It is how modern society brings together science, law, and responsibility to protect both communities and ecosystems.